The door before you slowly drew shut. You could no longer hear the raucous sounds of the men from within the den. The faint scent of cigarette smoke, however, lingered in the air. Staring vaguely at the closed door, you noticed something was amiss. The maid who had been holding your hand was no longer at your side. You glanced around, but she was nowhere in sight. Down the corridor stretched only darkness. Not having anticipated this, you were unsure how to react. Oh, is this what's the matter? You lost, or are you just trying to take in the sights? A voice called out to you, but it was not the maid's voice. Caught off guard, you spun around, confused in search of the source. Where are you looking? I'm over here. Yeah, there you go. A little more to the left. Following the voice's instructions, you found yourself facing a wall. A wall. You've gone AWOL. You look like you've just seen a ghost. Hey now, come on, don't turn away. Yep, you got it. I'm the one talking to you. The voice was coming from within the painting. When you had passed by this wall on your way to the third door, a magnificent landscape painting had been hanging here, there. But now, the canvas was a deep shade of black, as if it had been dipped into a vat of ink. Been a while since I've talked to anyone. So tell me, you can hear me all right, can't you? Splendid. Been so long since I've had a conversation, I was afraid I might have forgotten how to talk. So tell me, who might you be? You don't know? Well, isn't that quite the pickle? Then how about we have a little chat, huh? You got yourself turned around and aren't sure where to go, yeah? Well, I'll be happy to tell you anything I can. Just ask away. The painting sounded rather high-spirited. Perhaps he was simply excited to have the opportunity to speak with someone. So you decided you would ask the painting a few questions. Back to having choices, been a while. Well, you know I'm most curious about. I'm always going to be most curious about the beautiful woman. Might as well ask her that directly. But she won't say till you've regained your old self? I see. Well, in that case, if you want to know, you know what you gotta do. It's entirely up to you whether you make an ally or an enemy out of her. There's no guarantee she's even right in the head. You never know. Maybe you're not the only one who hasn't found themselves. I love the elements of that integrated into the song, the log sound effect. It's great. Well, who are you? Me? Well, as you can see, I'm a painting. Why did I end up as a painting? Hard to say. Maybe I was reborn as a painting because I used to really like art. Though there are things I painted that I wish I hadn't. Maybe that regret's what's turned me into this. Hopefully I get the chance to apologize to him about that. Anywho, no point in getting into any more detail about that. Wouldn't mean anything to you. So enough about me. All right, you don't know anything about yourself. A shame, that. All right, then. A favor to ask you, since you can't tell me about yourself. If you run into him, could you tell him I really regret what I did? I know I should tell him myself, but, well, as you can see, I'm stuck here. can't move an inch, so I've got to ask for help. I feel absolutely terrible about painting that picture. I know, yeah, the deadline's way past on that one, but that's what makes it regret, yeah? Because you can't take it back. By the time I had realized, it was too late. He was already dead. He's long since passed away. Huh? How are you supposed to give a dead fellow a message? Well, for all you know, the dead could be wandering these halls too. So please, if you come across him, tell him I said that. That I didn't mean any harm with that painting. Or maybe you are him. And who am I? Just because you don't know who you are doesn't mean you can go around asking other people. I'm not a person, you say? Well, no, you're right, but I'm not going to know anything about you that you can't tell me yourself. I mean, from where I'm standing, hanging, you look almost like a walking cloud of shadow. I can't even tell what you look like. The maid who was with you before, did she call you master? I see. But the question is, which era's master are you? How many doors have you been through? 3 doors, eh? And of those, did any of them bring anything back? Nah, well, it's not an easy thing recovering yourself. Or maybe you weren't behind any of those doors. Yeah, that's gotta be it. That was your first time witnessing those tragedies. Yours is another door. Oh, sorry. You ever get like that gross mucus between the nose and mouth feeling? Yeah, the worst. So tell me, how'd you feel looking behind those doors? Was it frightening, saddening, heart-wrenching? Well, let me tell you something. You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. If the next door you open is yours, will you be able to bear it? Will you be able to accept your own tragedy? It's one thing seeing others suffering, but your own. If you have to face emotions you wanted to keep buried, secrets you wanted to keep hidden away, and pain you wanted to forget, do you think you'll be able to accept them as your own? If you can, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't accuse you of running if you chose not to reclaim your old self. Nothing wrong with erasing your memory of something if it was so bad you didn't want to face it in the first place. Let it be rewritten as someone else's story. That'll make it a whole lot easier on you. Because you never know. The most unfortunate tale of all may well be your own. Or perhaps that goes for everything about you. You won't know till you see it? Well, that's true enough. But once you do, there might not be any turning back. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that, a fabrication. If it turns out you're someone from behind the next door, then perhaps you're my... God. It is... What he's saying about those tragedies weren't yours, so they... whatever he said... They wouldn't impact you as much as your own tragedy would. That is a hard idea to convey in any storytelling medium. Because all of these stories have been focused on an intimate group of characters who we grow attached to, and then a tragedy happens and we're left heartbroken, speechless, reeling, whatever. And we've gotten invested in those characters. They felt real to us. So those tragedies hurt us as audience members. So what's to really say that the perspective character's tragedy will impact the audience any more than the perspectives of non-perspective characters, if that makes sense. But this game, it pulls it off. And if you're even following what I'm saying, that was kind of a mess of a thought I just vomited out. But well, you'll see what I mean as we go. I'll have plenty to gush about as we go forward. We've basically just finished the prologue of this. Ugh, talk about some hard-hitting questions. I'm probably not the one who will be able to answer that for you. I don't have a very deep connection with this mansion, you see. I swear it, I got nothing to gain from lying, do I? It's my regrets that have turned me into this. I wasn't summoned here by no one. That said, there is one thing I can tell you. This place summons people. People who have ties to something that happened long, long ago. No one knows anything even happened. I didn't know either, till she told me, though I haven't the foggiest how much of it's true or not. Are you here because you were summoned by her? Or did you come here of your own will to find someone? If you came here of your own volition and you weren't summoned by her, then mayhaps you'll be the one who can break What a perfect spot in the story to place this. Like, in between doors 2 and 3, they gave us a big heaping of intrigue. Now between doors 3 and whatever comes next, we get this. Answering the Chekhov's painting that we saw. Yeah. This story's just paced so well, designed so well. It flows like clockwork, man, I'm telling you. Haven't talked that much in a long time. Feels great. And now that I've got that out of my system, I should be able to get some good sleep. You're probably still wandering in the dark right now, but I really hope you find the outcome you want. And I mean that. You can either reclaim your old self, or you can toss it aside. The choice is yours either way. Now, since it looks like your escort isn't showing up, what do you plan to do next? How about taking a look around the place, since you've got a little free time? Could be you come across some things you wouldn't... Could be you come across some things you wouldn't want... Oh, wow. Could be you come across some things you wouldn't with her around. Alright, if you're gonna go exploring, I've got the perfect thing. Stick your hand into the canvas, would you? The painting was still wrapped in an impenetrable darkness. A perfect, all-consuming void. The man had told you to put your hand into it. You... fucking do it. You extended your hand for the painting. The moment your fingertips brushed against the darkness, it swallowed your entire hand up to the wrist. No, not there. That tickles a little more to the right. As the man in the painting had instructed, you groped around in the inside of the darkness. Before long, you felt something hard at your fingertips. Clenching the object, you withdrew your hand. Your arm was still intact. You spread your fingers, and there you found a key. That tickled. With this key, you can access the master bedroom. A while back, she tossed it into me. The damn litter bug. So yeah, it ain't mine. Don't worry about giving it back to me. However, I bet there's something worth seeing in there if she felt the need to toss that key. Alright, well, I'm gonna get some sleep. You take care. If you happen to learn my name, come pay me another visit, should the fancy strike you. Having said that, the painting fell quiet. In your hand lay a small key. It seemed rather antiquated and vaguely familiar. Silence once again drew over the corridor. You stood there all alone, no sign of the maid. After considering it for a few moments, you decided to explore the mansion on your own. We got a lot of options. Let's try the rose garden. Look, your head is covered in roses. Oh, you got petals on the book. This isn't mine. I can't afford to. Though you could hear the sound of children laughing, you could not see them. Regardless, their cheerful voices warmed your heart. You decided to linger there in the garden for some time. Along with the children's laughs wafted a sweet fragrance. The wind blew, whisking flower petals up into the air. It was an enchanting sight. But after a while, the roses began to wilt. You could no longer hear the children's voices either. A young man stood alone in the withered rose garden. As you drew nearer, you called out to the youth, but the young man did not appear to notice you. He merely stood there, staring vacantly across the garden. The youth muttered something in a lifeless voice. This isn't what I wanted. I just wanted a normal, peaceful life. I can't bear being alone. I can't take this. Someone, get me out of here. Oh God, tell me it's not all my fault. You tried to call out to the young man several times, but he did not seem to hear you. He simply continued muttering to himself. Before long, the youth's shadow faded into nothing. Unable to bear the chilly air any longer, you stepped back into the mansion. Whew. Let's check out the library. The smell of dusty books filled the air of the library. You approached a shelf to examine one of the books, and suddenly an avalanche of them came falling to the floor. You stared blankly at the mountain of books. They had fallen down on their own, but they showed no signs of putting themselves away. Since no one else was there to do it, you began placing the books back on the shelf. 1, 2, 3, a dozen. And as soon as you had gotten them all back up, they came crashing back down again. You wished very much to implore of the maid's assistance, but she did not appear to be in the area. Pretending you had not seen anything, you made your way back into the hallway. Entrance. You made your way to the mansion's entrance. There was no one around, nor any source of light. Groping through the darkness, you found the front door, which was sealed shut with a heavy bar. You pressed against the bar, but it remained firmly in place. The door did not budge either. It seemed you could not leave the mansion. Burn the witch. Crucify the impure. When you made to step away from the entrance, you heard a muffled voice. You looked around. Oh. Sorry, I just ate. But were unable to determine the source of the voice. Nor could you be sure whom you had heard earlier. Either. Giving up on finding anything at the entrance, you decided to head somewhere else. Let's go to where it all began. You made your way to the room with the fireplace. What remained of the fire crackled weakly, leaving the room in a veil of darkness. You remembered that you had awoken here. Out of sheer curiosity, you sat down in the rocking chair you had been asleep in. Creak, creak, creak. It was as soothing as a cradle to a baby, and in short order, you found your consciousness drifting from your grasp. Oh, that sounds nice, honestly. Whoa, okay. Oh, how do I want to approach this? Yeah. Reading a story by the fireplace like this almost makes it feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, Master? I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they can be near the fire. Is it troubadours or troubadours? Oh, that was not... I see. I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they can be near the fire. Oh, you're such a cynic. But that's okay. Say, do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library? Your eyes slowly slid open. Fragments of a pleasant dream lingered in the back of your mind. The crackling of a fire, the taste of warm wine. However, there was nothing pleasant about the fireplace sitting before you. No warm, crackling flames. In fact, the brisk air of the room overpowered the remnants of embers left there. A chill ran down your spine. Afraid you might freeze stiff if you stayed there much longer, you resumed your exploration of the mansion. Let's go check out the cellar. When you descended into the cellar, you heard a beast-like snarling. Along with it came the sour odor and the sound of ripping flesh. You could not see the beast, but that did not make it any less unpleasant. You made to retreat from the cellar. But before you could, a shadowy creature lunged at you. You reflexively squeezed your eyes shut. After several moments, you opened your eyes again to find a silhouette of a man standing in place of the beast. You and the shadow stared at one another for some time. You asked the shadow a question, and the shadow responded. However, you had no idea what it said. The shadow seemed to be trying to communicate something to you, but trying to make sense of something you could not understand was pointless. Having no reason to remain in the cellar any longer, you made your way back upstairs. Let's see what our good friend smashed. You approached the stained glass window. An array of pews was arranged facing the stained glass. There seemed to be an air of tranquility about the room. You sat down in one of the pews and stared quietly forward for some time. For a moment, you felt like you were on the verge of recalling something, but ultimately the memory never managed to surface. The maid did not appear to be there. Where could she have gone? You decided to resume exploring the mansion. Where could she have gone indeed? The scent of cigarette smoke lingered in the den. However, the room was silent. Not even an echo of the men's chattering remained. Something was moving, billiards balls. There was no one present to strike the balls. They rolled spontaneously around the table. The paths they traced oh, wow. Oh! The paths they traced across the surface were rough and erratic, contrasting that of when the former master had held the cue. The spheres collided awkwardly with one another, not a single one coming close to the pockets. As an experiment, you pulled a ball off the table. In response, the paths of the balls became even clumsier. Having lost one of their targets, they began bouncing aimlessly off the cushioned walls of the table. As you stared intently at the table, a man's voice rang out from somewhere in the room. Spinning around, you saw a silhouette of a man. However, you could not make out what the man was saying. The man thrust his finger at the table. He appeared to want you to return the ball. You reluctantly placed the billiards ball back on the table. When you did, the balls resumed endlessly colliding with one another, never landing in any of the pockets. You looked up to find the shadow gone. Having determined that the maid was not going to appear in the den, you exited the room, making your way back to the corridor. You inserted the key you had been given into the door's keyhole. And with a twist, the door opened. The master bedroom was shrouded in darkness, much like every other room in the mansion. It had evidently been left unused for some time. The air in the room was stale and forlorn. "Master?" A voice seemed to ring out from somewhere. "Come on, get up. Up with you." "Master!" Fuck. It's my favorite track in the game. Well, second favorite. Favorite recurring track, I should say. See, what did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light. Without warning, your whole world took on bright, vivid colors. Light streamed through the window, illuminating a well-lived bedroom. A woman's silhouette stood before you. Wait a sec. Oh, no. Wait a sec. Don't you hide under your bedspread. Get out of there. Oh, but Master, you agreed I could open the windows. Don't worry, I've put curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best parts of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the bird, the swaying of the trees, the rustling of the leaves. I am not a morning person, but I have to admit, when I do have to get up in the morning, they do hit different. That morning atmosphere is, it's special. It's something, it's nice. Oh, fuck me. Oh God, this song. Oh, I'm feeling so many things. You tried to call out to the silhouette, but it did not respond. Reaching out for her, your hand simply passed through her body. It did not seem to be you that she was speaking to. Perhaps you were looking at a scene from some other period of time. Am I being as pushy as I feel right now? I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were. Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel, heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but you can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality, too. Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice, too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time. We got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make a list about... Oh, I ruined it. And I hope you can make your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. You've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time, then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to do before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know. We can get this place cleaned up. Now that there's some actual light in here, we can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust all over the place. Fuck, man. Oh, it just takes me... That song just takes me back to all the fucking feelings of this story. I feel it in my soul, dude. Oh. When the woman's shadow faded away, the master bedroom transformed back into its old dreary state. I'm also not 100% on that voice and cadence for her, but I'll nail something down. It's still early stages. I want to do these characters justice. You bet I do. Master, can you say my name? You were unsure how to describe the urge welling up within your breast. You could not say her name. You stood unmoving in the master bedroom for some time, but it did not appear anything else was going to happen, so you decided to head somewhere else. Oh, we can see the stained glass again, can we? You return to the room with the stained glass window. You had searched throughout the mansion but had no luck finding the maid. You felt somewhat tired, though you were not quite sure whether it was physical exhaustion or otherwise. You had little interest in doing any more moving about. Taking a seat in one of the pews, you gazed up at the stained glass. Staring solemnly down back at you was the Archangel. It's Archangel. Staring solemnly down back at you was the Archangel said to weigh the souls of the deceased. Perhaps he was trying to weigh your soul. Fuck.
Master? Master? Oh, there you are, Master. You gave me quite the scare. After returning from the third door, you disappeared without a word. Oh my, it was I who disappeared? That is quite strange. I did not go anywhere as far as I am aware. Nevertheless, I am glad to have found you. I would have been at a complete loss for what to do if I had been separated from you again. I did indeed say that when you first arrived. I have been waiting for your return for a very long time. For centuries, as a matter of fact. That would make me a ghost then, you say? I'm very much not a ghost. Would I be able to hold your hand if I were?
Saying this, the maid took your hand. It was cold enough to send a shudder down your spine, and completely devoid of life. Though, as chilling as it may have been, you still took comfort in the feeling of her hand in yours. The maid looked down on you with gentle eyes. After a few moments of silence, she sat down beside you.
The stained glass is quite beautiful, is it not? Every time I see it, it brings a tranquility to my heart. A dreadful, deep-rooted curse afflicts this mansion. However, this room is the one exception. Can you feel the purity that hangs in the air, Master? Yes, what is it, Master? You are correct. The stained glass window had been shattered and was not present in the time period of the previous tale. I wonder. Perhaps it is because the mansion we are in presently resides in a realm separate from the real world. We are in a world constructed from myriad memories and histories. I am sure that when you regain your old self, Master, the mansion too shall be restored to its original state. So do try and remember, all right? Oh yes. Where did you go in my absence, Master? I see. So you explored the mansion then, and did you find anything noteworthy? Memories. I am not quite sure what you mean. How peculiar. As a servant of this house, I pride myself in being aware of most everything present within these walls. I wonder whose memories they could be. The key to the master bedroom. Why did I throw away the key? I beg your pardon? You say a painting told you.
You could see perplexity on the maid's face. You had never seen her make such an expression before. I think that is the first time we've seen her make that face, maybe.
I know nothing of any key. Oh, Master, you should not tell jokes meant to cause others discomfort. But a talking painting, you say? You seem to have a rather vivid imagination. Maybe you can tell the next tale, Master. I am only teasing. Now, that was a nice break, but we should get moving. The tale I'm about to show you is the last of the mansion's memories.
Sorry. I'm not. Why am I apologizing?
I am certain you will remember yourself after seeing it. To our feet. The final door is not far. And please, do not let go of my hand.
Holding your hand, the maid led you to the far end of the room. Crossing beneath the stained glass window, a metal door came into view.
Our destination lies at the top of these stairs. There we will find one last door.
She pushed open the metal door, revealing a long, long spiral staircase. Oh, pain. Oh.
It will be a bit of a walk, so let us be on our way. And please do watch your step. This is called an observation tower. Normally, towers such as this were built in castles or churches, so it is rather strange for there to be one in the mansion. The last door I wish to show you, Master, resides at the top of this tower.
Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in several locations along the way up the spiral staircase. You attempted to peer out one of the windows, but all you could see was a thick layer of fog. Perhaps the maid's suggestion that the mansion did not presently reside in reality was, in fact, correct. With each step upward, you found yourself gripped by an indescribable sense of anxiety. The feeling somewhat resembled irritation or annoyance. Sensing this, the maid tightly gripped your hand.
There is nothing to worry about. You will be fine. It is all in the past. No matter what may happen, so long as you do not let go of my hand, you have nothing to fear.
You and the maid continued climbing the stairs, up and up, around and around, marching ever nearer the supposed final door. High up into the tower, as a light from below drew distant, high up into the tower as the oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm just so caught up in this whole moment right now. I apologize. High up into the tower, as the light from below drew distant, a rotten wood door came into view. Patches of what appeared to be blood stained the surface, and holes had been bored into it with sharp objects of some sort. You heard a scream from far below, where no one should have been. Kill the witch, kill the witch, kill the witch! Burn her, burn her, burn her! You were struck with fear. The next moment the maid opened the door, and then you slowly descended into darkness.